Skip the intro, get right to the info.
Bang, bang, bang.
It's your boy Textiles, Brooklyn, New York City zone, representing Daily Spread Podcast, special edition, the Knickerbocker Report. Knickerbocker Report is an offshoot. It's its own podcast, but we're gonna report live from Daily Spread today, and we got a great topic to talk about on today. Now, just to give you a little bit of my history in regards to this topic, and then a little bit about me, if this is your first time tuning in, again, this is Textiles. I'm out of Brooklyn, New York City, and I grew up a Knicks fan. Some of my earliest memories of tapping into New York Knicks basketball was listening to the radio. Now, one of the most special moments that I have is listening to the game on the radio when John Starks dunked on three Chicago Bulls, including Michael Jordan. You know, a lot of people don't want to say that Starks dunked on Mike, but Mike was right there. Mike was the final piece of that dunk with him reaching in. So like if you remove Horace Grant and who was the other person? Was it Scotty? I hope it was Scotty. I can't recall right now. But if you remove those two guys, the first two guys, the third guy definitely got dunked on, and that was Mike. So that dunk I saw vividly through an audio just like this one, about listening to the radio to guys on WFAN back then, break down the game, do color commentary on the game over the AM radio. And then I saw the image on the newspaper the next day, and then you take it to school, and you argue against the Laker fans and whoever other Chicago Bulls fans and the Nets fans and the Phillies fan and the Sixers fans and the Hawks fans, you know. So I come from that era, doing it outside, bringing your evidence to the table, bringing your newspaper clippings, showing the stats, showing the numbers, showing Patrick Ewing domination, listening to the games at night, low to Ewing, you know, watching the games on the weekends. I remember also another game I remember was the Reggie Miller 9 points and whatever, 7 points and 9 seconds and 9 point, whatever it was. I know I left to go play basketball when the Knicks were up, ready to talk my smack. That's a lesson learned right there. That is never over till it's over, right? Because listen, I'm walking to the park and I'm talking my trash to myself. I'm premeditating my trash talk. But anybody who come against the Knicks, I'm in the court. We know he's shooting around. Oh yeah, the Knicks got that. Yeah, because Reggie Miller is one of the most hated rivals, right? So I'm like, yeah, man, we got this, man. Game pretty much over when I left the crib. And they like, oh, now the Knicks lost. Because I get to the park, there's no internet, there's no phone. Like you walk into the park, you out of touch with whatever's going on, unless you got the radio on or something. And no, the Knicks did not get that W that night, that day, that afternoon, on that Sunday. It was crazy. Watch the video, you see, you almost didn't want Spike to go to any more games. So I'll come from that era. So am I biased when it comes to this if I decide to go with the 94 Knicks? Am I denying where I come from if I go with the 2025 Knicks? Because you got these older guys who Everything is about the new guys. They don't like nothing about back in the day. Right? Everything is, yo, that was trash, or that, pardon me, that's trash, or that's old, or this, that, and the third. But they got, I mean, I'll be like, yo, knock it off, man. I know you, I know you know better than that. Right? Night butcher. Let me just check my YouTube, make sure we live. Let me share this video. And like this video if you like this video. And if you haven't subscribed already to what we got going on, please subscribe to the YouTube algorithm. You dig? So we want to talk about the 1993-94 Knicks versus the 2024-2025 Knicks. Who would win in a 7-game series? Fantasy basketball style. Remember doing this? They used to have the wrestling magazine out back in the day, and they used to have fantasy tournaments. That used to be the illest thing ever to me. They even had the fake one where, like, and I never glad I never bought into that. But they used to have this they used to have this game in the book where you could even make your own wrestler and you run them through like a gauntlet or whatever. But yeah, oh shit, I've been looking for this joint all day. My tincture. So yeah, this fantasy wrestling was crazy because you'll put two guys together, maybe from two different eras, and drum up the match and have a finish and everything of that nature. And with this, you can do the same thing, right? So I started envisioning in my brain what would be the outcome of such the matchup. And and if you say the 2025 team, I can feel where you're coming from, right? Of course. But let's go through it. Let's go through it. And then the 94. Because see, here's one thing that I want to say before we get into it. Or let's ask the question. Can we negate what the 2000 uh what the 1994 team has already accomplished? Can we take that away? And shout out to Fireside Knicks on Twitter because they're the ones who posted this. Uh, they're the inspiration. They're the inspiration for this. And I'm just typing this out right now. So, guys aren't the greatest multitaskers in the world. So, for the inspiration, all right. Yes, indeed. New York Knicks basketball. And again, we got the fan page. You can click the link in the description and join the fan page on Facebook that's been up for the past 11 years. That's the one I've been a part of for the past 11 years. No real motion on it, but let's get it moving. It's 2025 Knicks basketball. Let's get that going because there's a lot to talk about with the Knicks. They got a great team. Past, present, and future. You got Carmelo inducted into the Hall of Fame. Definitely got to talk about that on the Knickerbocker Report. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. Okay, I wanted to share my screen, but Twitter is so insane that it's like, how can I share my screen or share this without it without lewdness being revealed in the all right, let's see if we can go to the comments. Oh, they have a YouTube as well. So maybe I can find it on their YouTube and like in the community section or something like that. Fireside Knicks. Maybe it's in the community section and then it won't be, the craziness of, or maybe that's just my Twitter, right? Yeah. Fireside. From the fireside, I stay on the community. The Knicks need depth at the power forward. That kid would not be the one. All right, so no, it's not on there either. All right, so all right, we'll just we'll just use what we can from here. How about it? Is this okay? Bet. All right, bet. Bet. So this is where we'll start it from. That should be clean, and we stay out of trouble with YouTube. It's a it should put this on a community page on YouTube. That'd be dope. Shout out to this guy, so man. Looking at the community page now. Did he make this a video already? That would be crazy. Oh, I haven't done a video in a couple weeks. All right, I'll subscribe though. Shout out to you guys. And if you know where that's from, you know where that's from. I present. Representing E to the I. Represent to the world. Goldie girl. Yo. All right, here we are. Here we are. All right. So as you can see, well, from my um avatar, there's the picture of uh the image with the two teams, right? But it has Ron Harper as shooting guard. So people were talking about that in the post. Well, at least that's what Jerry Ferrara is saying. Harper was the PG, Starks with the SG. And yeah, and that's what kind of like at first I was like, man, whoever made this post, first of all, what do y'all know about 94 Knicks basketball? Because if you made that blunder, you might not even understand what's what. Then secondly, they put Anthony Mason as the starter when Charles Smith actually started more games if I'm not mistaken. Let's ask Jam, truly outrageous. Who did what in that year? Who started more? Who started more? Or can I just go to V reference and see who started more in that year? 94. Yeah, let's go to the squad. Let's go to the stats. Can we go to the stats? Game started. All right, so if we go to game started, in that season, Charles Smith started 43 games. Ant Mason started 12 games. See what I'm saying? Charles Smith again. Wait, let me look. Charles Smith played in 43 games that year. Started in 21. Ant Mason played in 73 games that year. Started in 12. All right. So in that year, it definitely was Ewing, Oakley, Starks, Harper in most cases. Anthony Bonner played a lot of games that year. He started in 38 games that season. Bench player, definitely was serviceable. Had a couple of big dunks. That's what I remember about Anthony Bonner. Anthony Bonner would come in the game and get some big dunks. Another starter, started a lot of games was Greg Anthony, right? Stark started 54 games. He started 54 out of 59, so he pretty much started whenever he played. Oakley started in all 82 games. Ewing started in all 79 that he played. Rivers started in 19 games that he played. Harper started in 27 of 54 games. Okay. So even Harper wasn't really much of a starter, but we can go with that. We can go with Ron Harper at the one. He was pretty the one, mixed in with some Greg Anthony. You had Hubert Davis started in 27 games of that year, almost half the games that he played in. Okay. So that's pretty much the Knicks. You had Ewing, Oakley, Starks, Rivers, Mason, Smith, Greg Ant, Derek Harper, Hubert Davis, Anthony Bonner, who were the major contributors that season. 10 players. You had Ro Blackman and Herb Williams and some others who at the bottom of that list. And now with the Knicks from 2020, the new Knicks, what do we have? 2025 Knicks. The new Knicks, we could go down to 10 players, right? That's what we did with the Knicks. We got okay, so far this season, you got Towns, Brunson, OG, Hart, McCall, who's done most of the starting of all of his games. And their bench representatives would be McBride, Precious, Campaign, Shamit, and you want to say Huck Porty now, especially with Sims gone. No way can the 2025 team keep up with it. But let's get into it. They're not deep enough. They don't have enough dexterity. They're not even the number one team right now. That Knicks team in '94, they went to the chip, didn't they? So this team right now, first off, that's the first thing. Let's say that this team still has to be proven before we could even really have this argument. But let's have it for argument's sake. And maybe, yeah, I'm starting with the OGs, maybe. But let's go through it matchup for matchup. Starting at starting at the one. Let's start at the one. We got to start at the one, right? Derek Harper versus Jalen Brunson. Now, granted, Jalen Brunson is one of the most talented, shiftiest, bruising point guards that the NBA has. No doubt about it. But Ron Harper was a defender of a different breed. They used to put Ron Harper on Mike Jordan, man. Pardon me. This is Derek Harper. And the fact still remains. Derek Harper, they used to put D Hop on Jordan, man. So it's hard for me to think that he would have more of a difficult time with JB than Michael Jordan. Okay. It's just that simple. Uh, uh, I'm laughing only because I think about those with the basketball with good basketball IQ, but with recency bias. And then when I make a point like that, they want to fight it in their mind so bad. If you're dealing with recency bias, you like, what, what do you mean? And I'm like, you know exactly what I mean. They used to put D Harp on Mike Jordan, clamps. Did he ever lock Michael Jordan down? I don't know. Let me see. Let me ask the thing. What would happen when Derek Harper would guard Mike Jordan? Which team won more games? What was Jordan's average output in games versus Derek Harper in contrast to games versus uh, games where in contrast to his other games, to his other games. Let's see if this social construct AI thing knows. Come on, you can do it. Put your back into it, AI. It's not looking like it wants to answer my question. Is this thing working? It ain't working. But when you try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make her stay. Both of y'all crazy. Both of y'all crazy. Oh, is this just a silly game that forces you to act this way? Okay, let's see. Random question I just threw to this. All right. Derek Harper was known as a tough physical defender, especially during the time in the New York Knicks. Solid defend on the ball. Okay, name matchups. Okay, so said Mike Jordan. All right, I would have to go specifically to Land of Basketball or one of these websites because you're not helping me. Land of Basketball. But my point is, Derek Carper was a great defender. He has the size. If you want to get right down to it, there are a lot of guys right now like Dyson Daniels and some of the bigger guards that Brunson has trouble with on the defensive end, and as well as when it comes to he can score, he can find the spots, but D Harper is a defensive stopper. That's what he does. He's a real good defender. So it's not like Brunson is just gonna have his way with him because D Hop doesn't really have to score the ball. He can focus on defense, and he's lengthy. So that's always a problem for guys like uh Jalen Brunson. Now, at the two guard, John Starks versus Mikal Bridges. Here's where I like Starks because Starks would always play the mind games. Now, Mikal Bridges is not a soft, he's not a punk, and he's definitely up for the BS. And probably he's right there with Starks, if not better than Starks as a ball player. However, I still feel like it's a mental thing, and Starks just has the mental edge, in my opinion, there. Now, at the three, Josh Hart versus not Anthony Mason, but Charles Smith, who again played more, started more than Anthony Mason. Mason wasn't really a start. Mason started, but he started at the three or the four, sometimes depending on what was what. I don't see Josh Hart having that same impact against a Charles Smith who was 6'10. Yes, Josh Hart gets busy. He does his thing against a bunch of different guys. The league is much smaller these days. Josh Hart is like 6'4", 6'5". So I don't really see that happening now. And if you were to keep it at Mason, Anthony Mason, you you must not have seen Anthony Mason in real life. Like I've stood next to Anthony Mason in real life. Granted, I was a kid. Mason is huge. Mason is built like the capital letter V. Man, his shoulders are broad, wide shoulder like a football player. And he had ball handling skills crazy. Mace was a different type of hooper. But now back to Charles Smith. Charles Smith was a scorer too. Before he even came to the Knicks, he used to average high teens, maybe even the low 20s. He was a scorer and lanky. And I'm not gonna say he's gonna get at it at the defensive end like that, but Josh Hart couldn't guard no Charles Smith, man. You could go low Smith. Give it to Charles Smith. He was dunking on this boy every time. Now at the four, Oakley versus Ananobi. Oh my goodness. Another one where, yes, OG in today's basketball is these brute and could guard Giannis and these kind of guys. But Oakley, my boy, you talking about Charles Oakley. You talking about Oakley, low post, move you, shoulder, jump shot from the wing, post move, capass, defender. Only thing OG Ananobi probably could do is get him around and probably could score a little bit on him. But really though, it's a bad matchup for OG. Now, I'm not saying this Knicks team isn't good, it isn't really good or can become really great, but that's a bad matchup for OG. Now, the same energy I had for the Knicks, where I could switch out, I'm gonna have a switch out moment for the Knicks and see how they could, the new Knicks, and see how they could fare in the matchup and possibly win. All right. We're gonna look and see if we could figure that out uh, by creating a way to victory for them. But yeah, let's read some of this mess. So yeah, P Duke said Harper was the PG, Starks was the SG. Wilson Lopez says Patrick Ewing with these new rules and style of playing will score 90 points and get 30 rebounds. Starks will score 50. Oakley will be thrown out of the game for beating up Anthony Towns and OG. Old school makes 230 points to 120. Wow. Old school Knicks by a mile. They played harder. Someone got the gift here showing Pat Ewing. Now, I had mentioned earlier in the year to the credit of the new Knicks, I said, yo, Ant Towns to an old school Knicks fan. I said, yo, Ant Towns giving that Patrick Ewing vibe. And they said, don't disrespect Pat like that. Right. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but Cat offensively is having a great year. He's not doing what Ewan has done defensively and all and everything like that. There we go. Ah, see, look at Jordan. He pulled himself away at the end. That angle was not the best angle, but he definitely was there. Man, get up. Stocky loves. That was one of my favorite dunks to do myself too. Pat Ewing going upstairs. Ah, upstairs, Ewing style. Ewingston. Ewingstein. Oh, oh, hold on. Hold on. Who that? That's Oaktown against his future teammate Xavier Max. You know what I'm saying? All right. 93, 94 Knicks, not even close. Back then, those Knicks teams were physical, and I don't see this current Knicks team keeping up. Someone said, who race y'all says 24, 25 Knicks. That older Knicks ain't keeping up with the scoring. Another one correcting them. He said 94, Uncle Ross says in 5 games, old school Knicks. This Knicks team at 5 easy. The old has fought as evolved. So do the players. The Knicks would have to get used to the physicality. But once they do that, they'll shoot the Knicks out the gym. All the Knicks will struggle to keep up with today's pace. Hmm. Okay. So a lot of talk here. I see. All right. So now, what about the Mitch Robinson factor? Now, if you bring Mitch Robinson into the fold and you move Cat down to the 4, uh, bring Hart off the bench, move Bridges to the 3, OG to the 3, Bridges at the deuce, Brunson at the 1. It gives you a better chance to me because at least you got somebody focused on defense and that could try to hold down Pat Ewing. Cat gives you a better chance versus Oak because of this length and stretching the floor. OG at the 3 versus Charles Smith is way better matchup as you can see what OG does to players like lankier than him, like Giannis and so forth. And then when they kind of add Mason, you got Bridges at the 4, Yeah. So I got muted up. Oh my. In any event, you see the posters on here. I don't know what didn't get heard, but I'm not finna go back and rehash it. But I just wanted to chat. We're gonna get back to it though. I'm gonna listen to it and we'll do it again if we gotta do it again. But what are your thoughts on this? My final analysis is I edge it to the old school Knicks. Um, Stronger, more experienced, more accomplished, gives the new Knicks something to strive for. Get to the championship. Show us that y'all could do that in this era before y'all gonna take on a team that already did what y'all trying to do. With that being said, textiles for the Knickerbocker Report and Air Hustle, along with Daily Spread Podcast. Peace.